Good morning and welcome to Living Local 15. Thank you so much for joining me today. First up, we are kicking off our Inside of Real Estate series, and George Raptis with Mike Thomas and Associates is joining me to speak about the development process and how to build your home from scratch. Then it's Mental Health Matters with Viking Psychiatry, and I am joined by Sean Goddard, who's going to speak about mental health and the stigma that can go with it. Are you ready? Let's get started.
Fashion, food, and fun. You're watching Living Local 15 with your host, Jessica Williams.
This segment sponsored by Mike Thomas Associates. Wow, look at this beauty. I am standing outside of the first home built in this development. And while it is still under construction, let's go on the inside and speak to George Raptis with Mike Thomas and Associates to learn all about building your dream home from scratch. Joining me now is Realtor George Raptis. Hello, George.
How are you?
Well, listen, I'm feeling so much better being in this beautiful home. So Villages of Arneo is just the most exciting new project really happening right now in Fort Wayne. So give us just an overview about this development and this project.
Oh, it's super neat. We have a residential section that is connected to the commercial section, something that we may see in some of the larger cities, Indianapolis, Atlanta, North Carolina. And we've taken this concept to be able to work, live, and play in our community.
Yes, and so right now this process of building from scratch is so popular. I mean, if you can have the opportunity to choose every little thing you want in a home, why not?
Absolutely.
So let's talk about that. So you really do help people with this new journey. So why is building from scratch so popular right now?
I think it's just a neat opportunity to create and customize your own living space. I mean, a home is where we live, where we belong, and where we make our dreams and moments in life, and having the opportunity to start with our own concept and our own design and our own thought and make it into reality and moving in is just I tell everybody I meet, I know that I'm a realtor and I sell homes, but I tell everybody, everyone should at least experience this one time in your life.
Right, and so this project has been underway for a little while now, a little less than a year, right? And I just cannot believe that y'all are selling left and right, but there's still opportunity for people to build from scratch.
There is. I mean, in this subdivision in Arneo, I mean, it is such a unique concept to be able to at night go and have dinner, walk through the paths, take your golf cart over there. It's just all walking distance. There's some new restaurants that are coming, one great established restaurant. I'd love to be able to tell everybody all the new things. Can't yet. But it's just to be able to walk and to live in this community and to be part of it. It's just very unique, and I'm excited to be part of this concept to bring to Fort Wayne for the first time.
Yeah, it is. And we're at the top of the year, 2025, and I think that it's just such an important time for people to embrace change and something new and get a fresh start. So why would someone choose a building from scratch concept over just going into a home that's already there?
That's a great question too. And there is going to be a cost difference when you're going in, starting fresh, but like I tell everybody is that from just the basics or the engineering side of things, you don't have to worry about your roof for 25 or 30 years. No furnace problems on Christmas Eve or Christmas. You know, we have an opportunity to pick the colors in the flooring. There is no remodeling. I mean, the big thing is we move in and put our furniture in and we're throwing our welcome home party immediately. So it's a great opportunity that way too.
I love this. And so I have to just acknowledge this beautiful space that we are standing in and this fabulous kitchen behind us. I mean, just all the details from the textured walls to the marbling and just all of the space. I mean, I pulled up and there's a huge driveway, and then I was peeking my head into each room, just getting more and more impressed. The walk-in closet, I could go on. And so let's talk about this process. So if someone's thinking, well, I would love to start from scratch, but that just feels like it sounds like a lot. where do people start in this journey?
Honestly, I think they need to connect with their real estate professional. Yeah. I think, having the idea and the concept of where are we going to go, what type of home we're going to build, who should build our home, who's going to help design it. There are some components that go into, and I feel like I'm the great opportunity to kind of piece everything together, figure out what it's important to you, and then connect you with the vision of the builder or the decorator that you're going to best match with.
Yeah, and then what about the timeline? How long does a project like this take?
That's a great question too. We're typically look anywhere from 5 to 6 months, and then excess of 13, 14, 15 months. So it just really depends on the details that you want to go through and set those expectations from the very beginning.
Right. Oh my goodness. Okay, that is so exciting. And then what do you think is one of the biggest misconceptions that people have when it comes to taking on such a large project like this?
It's where to start. It's can I make it through? Like, I don't really know how to put all this together with my paint colors and flooring match, and so it's connecting with the right professionals that just give you all the information you need to make the best educated decision to move forward.
Yes, the right professionals like you. And so if someone is kind of thinking, you know what, I would love to hop on to this development right now, how should they best get in contact with you to start that process?
The cell phone number is, to me, is the best way to do it. It's 260-710-1834.
All right, so I think the moment everyone's been waiting for, a little tour to see all the features of this home.
Yes.
All right, let's do it. Okay, George, so this is the room behind us, but there's something special about it. What is it?
It is a little bit different when we have the slanted wall.
Right.
So the homeowners, again, customizing the house, you get an opportunity to do anything your imagination can come up with. And they decide to go ahead and create a feature, especially outside. It's much more dramatic. They took the dark color here to kind of settle it a little bit, but it's a neat view of the house. And then
it is, and then this view, which is so beautiful. Wow, you can just see the pond that's out there and just really enjoy natural sunlight.
Absolutely, it's the uniqueness of the subdivision. Every lot has its own private and its own unique view. So that's the cool thing about Arneo.
That is nice. And then of course this kitchen. Okay, so let's talk about some of the features that are popular. What are people doing now?
Cabinet space is always important. Yes. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and push these forward, and then there's a little secret pantry back there that goes back through, kind of its own kitchenette. This is where all of the magic happens while we're still keeping everything clean.
The preparation, and you can just kind of hide if you're entertaining, hide stuff. Officially, this is the butler's closet, or is that what it's called? The butler's closet?
Correct.
I like that it's so sneaky. And then you have all these beautiful cabinets, which, I mean, look at that. You barely have to tap it. And it comes up, which is so lovely. And then let's talk about this marbling. Wow.
The uniqueness of it, having a little bit of that rigid touch, that live feel.
And then these gold fixtures are just beautiful. I mean, just pristine, every single touch in this room.
Absolutely, absolutely. Customizing it, congratulations to the homeowners, because they've done a really good job picking out everything they need to do.
Yes, and I love the camouflage refrigerator as well. Everything's hidden, incognito.
Let's hide it.
All right, let's keep looking.
All right.
All right, so this is the master bedroom, and I'm just like, it's just so stunning. I love the creative choices. And so they have stone, which is just so, I haven't seen this option. It's kind of medieval times.
Absolutely, yes.
And then of course the wooded ceiling, which is great too. And so tell me about just really how this concept came about.
Oh, see, that's the fun part. When you're building from start to finish, it's your concept. It's the homeowner's concept. They've jumped on the online, the Pinterest, the house apps, the Instagram. They're really starting to figure out what it is that they truly love and truly enjoy, and what they want to incorporate into their own home. So that's why the building process of creating that imagination and bringing it to fruition.
Yeah, and that's something that people can start doing now, right?
Absolutely.
Because really, I mean, you think about the time it takes to develop a home, there's so much to do in between, but you can kind of get that process started kind of like if you're planning a wedding, right?
And I tell everybody always, when you think you're ready to start, you should have started 6 or 12 months before. We really want to take the opportunity to create the imagination and bring in the information so that your ideas become your home and not rush through the process and saying, oh gosh, I wish I would have done something just a little bit different because I didn't give myself enough time to think. So we start way before we're supposed to. That's the secret.
Yes, and I love, so the patio there, and then we have to check out this beautiful bathroom. I mean, it's just so much inspiration, and I walk into this natural sunlight, and this is one of those hybrid bathtub and shower setups. So you can just walk over here and just be like, get your shower on.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, and so when it comes to the process of these detailed items, such as the fixtures and what type of bathtub and all of these details, is this something that you work through with them at the beginning of the process, or just kind of built over time?
It could be very overwhelming if we give you everything to start with at the very beginning. So we do it in phases, but we want to connect you with the right designer, the right builder to create that same vision that you want to share and find someone that can match that and bring that into reality. So it's the connection of the people and then staging and categorizing when to start and when not to.
And just start, okay. Yeah, just looking at his and her sinks separated, and then you said if I entered into this room, I wouldn't want to leave, right?
Correct. The master closet. The master closet. Still working out the details, but oh my goodness.
Oh, wow. Chandelier, I mean, it's just stunning. It's just stunning. So throughout this development, will you all have model homes so people can see and kind of get ideas as you start developing more?
Yep, so we've connected with some of the best builders in Fort Wayne to create their concepts, allow them. So there are builders that are putting up their own unique spec homes available for the public, and they are starting and finishing them as we start. So now sitting here in January and February, March, April, we're going to have a nice selection of homes to preview and see which homes connect with the right person.
Yeah, absolutely. And this home just has so much more to offer, from a basement to a movie room, theater, office. I mean, still building, so we can't show everything, but this is definitely an exciting addition to Fort Wayne. So thank you so much for sharing. And of course, if people are interested in learning more about the services that you offer and really having that conversation on where to get started, how can they contact you?
The real estate professional that I could be to help through this process, 260-710-1834 is my cell phone number. That's the best way to start the process.
All right, thank you so much, George.
Thank you,
and we'll also have their email address and website listed below to reach out, and I'll see you after the break. This segment sponsored by Mike Thomas Associates.
Living Local 15, proudly driven by the Kelly Automotive Group.
This segment sponsored by Viking Psychiatry. Welcome to Mental Health Matters with Viking Psychiatry, and I am continuing to speak with founder Sean Goddard about giving you the tools you need to support mental health. And today, Sean, welcome back.
Thank you.
We're going to talk about the stigma side of it, because there is stigma that comes with people having mental health conditions, expressing or sharing that they have it. I think we've gotten better over the years, especially as we witness on news and on social media, how devastating holding it in can be for that individual. So now we're trying to understand it better. But why do you feel that there's such a strong stigma?
You know, a lot of it has to do with history. From the very beginning, mental health was looked as something being wrong with somebody, right? Somebody that needed to be locked away, right? Or finger pointed at, right? Or separated from everybody else because of what is going on with them, right? And so we also have cultural and societal implications that go along with that, right? Where there are beliefs handed down and people don't want to buck the beliefs, right? They don't want to be seen outside the norm. And so that plays a huge role. And I really think sometimes, not as much now as used to, but even media really, zeroed in on certain mental health issues or a certain situation that occurred, and people see the worst case scenarios, and then if you say, for example, bipolar, well, then that's a horrible thing to have, right? Because of that. And so it's a lot of the belief and understanding. But I do believe that one of the best things that came out of COVID and the lockdown was the understanding and the acceptance of mental health, and that treatment is needed.
Yeah, it is, and you're right. I think how the visual looked for mental health is what was off-putting. It's like that person was labeled crazy or insane, or if you have to talk to a therapist, you're cuckoo or something like that, instead of it's just like, I need help working through these thoughts or these life situations, a tragedy. And we saw the worst form of it progress. So someone can have a mental health issue that they've had, but then the execution or the action that they did lose their mind. Like when Britney Spears was like, banging, what's it called, the golf club, and she had her breaking point. And that's the thing, I think recognizing the stigma and talking about it earlier helps people not get to that breaking point as often. And so, so through the stigma, it actually caused people not to seek help. So why is that?
Because I think when it comes down to it is you don't want to be labeled, right? And you think that you're outside the norm, but really I would tell people that the norm is to struggle, right? 1 in 5 Americans suffer from depression. 1 in 5, right? And over 50% of the U.S. will go through some type of mental health crisis in their lifetime. Those are huge numbers, right? Those are numbers that show us what the normal is. When it comes to something like anxiety, over 40 million Americans suffer with anxiety every single year, right? These are large numbers. So this is not affecting, 1 in 100 or 1 in 200. This is affecting 1 in 5.
And so that's what I love about this conversation with you and you having this facility specifically for mental health in Fort Wayne, because it's like people see it and it's tangible. I can touch it. I could call them. I could go in and learn about the variety of options that you provide. And also the fact that you're not a stranger to what you're helping people through, because you are very open about your personal struggles and how you found this this whole body method to help. So let's talk about that in a sense of strategies and really ways that people can take dealing with mental health to get treatment or to help their friends and family to get treatment.
Yeah, I think, when I came here to Fort Wayne, our mental health treatment options weren't great. And the sad thing is they haven't gotten better. Outside of what we offer at Viking Psychiatry, we've seen offices close, more barriers to care and those types of things. And so we're trying to break that down and allow more people to get treatment and treatment that helps immediately. But I think when it comes to the stigma, we each have to do an individual job at helping break that, right? And so encouraging people to get help, right? Because it used to be the opposite, right? Oh, you don't want to go there. You don't want to get that label. You don't want to get that diagnosis, right? It's going to cause problems. We want to avoid harmful phrases like it's all in your head, right? It's not all in the head, right? And there's things that need to occur and things that need to change. Also, we have this opportunity now with the internet to be able to educate ourselves better beforehand and being able to educate about what's going on. And so if your friend, your partner, your whoever is struggling with something, you have an opportunity to go and research that and be able to better understand what they're going through. And then I think one of the big things of like what we're doing today is speaking out against the stigma, right? And speaking out against labeling. I think nowadays we tend to label so much stuff, and mental health needs to be one of the things that we're not labeling. It needs to be something that we're accepting and saying, what can we do to make things better?
And I think part of it, like you said, is being a non-judgmental, but then on the flip side, being transparent, and just, working it into a conversation. You're out and you're going to dinner with a friend and you're catching up and say, hey, how's your day been? And, it could be, oh, it's been a great day, but I was feeling some anxiety this morning because of X, Y, and Z. And it's not like the world stops. It's like, oh yeah, girl, I experienced that too. You will find how much people can relate if you share. But if people are holding it back because I don't want to judge you and I don't want you to judge me, then we're not going to have those conversations. And I've had the most beautiful conversations with people through that transparency. And it shows that we are not in this by ourselves. We are actually all experiencing very similar things, and it's okay.
You bring up such an important point about sharing. One of the things that I often ask in the office, and even when I'm out and about, just the other day I asked them how they were doing, and they're like, oh, I'm fine. And the thing I asked was, is that just the canned response, or is that how you're really feeling? Because we tend to just respond automatically.
Yeah.
And sometimes somebody just following up and saying, are you sure? Are you okay? Especially if you're picking up on something.
Right.
Is there anything you want to talk to me about, right? And we've talked about the body storing things, right? The better we can release that in that moment or deal with those issues in the moments, the better we're going to feel. And that also reduces the stigma because we allow the people around us to know that it's okay to not be okay.
Be okay, right, exactly. And I love that, yes. That question, I try to incorporate like how I think about how I'm actually doing. So if you're like, how are you doing? I'd be like, it's a day. This Friday feels like a Monday, or I got pinched a nerve today. It's okay to like just say what's wrong with you, and it doesn't have to be like sunshine and butterflies. I'm doing great. Sometimes we're not. Most times we're not.
Yeah, some people are going to listen and other people aren't. So when you release with that beginning, well, I'm not really feeling that great today. Some people are just going to say, well, I'm sorry to hear that, and move on.
Right.
But there are going to be people that are going to stop, they're going to care, and they're going to listen. And that's what we want more of.
Yeah, I agree. More conversations like this.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Sean.
Thank you.
And if you would like more information about Viking Psychiatry, we'll have their website listed below, and I'll see you after the break. This segment sponsored by Viking Psychiatry.
Go to the Living Local 15 page on WANE.com for recipes from the show, to watch a segment again, and to get information on products and services featured on Living Local 15. Content segments during today's Living Local 15 were paid for by these sponsors.